Picture this. You've had a rough day, and you're sitting on your couch holding back tears. Suddenly, your dog comes over, rests their head on your lap, and looks at you with those soulful eyes. Is it random? Or does your dog actually know you're upset? Believe it or not, studies show that dogs can detect human emotions with a surprising 80% accuracy just by observing facial expressions and tone of voice. But how much of this is science, and how much is wishful thinking? We've all heard people say, "My dog just knows when I'm sad." But is that really true? Dogs are known for their loyalty, wagging tails, and unbreakable bond with humans, but what if they also have an uncanny ability to pick up on how we're feeling? If that's the case, how do they do it? Do they understand us better than we understand ourselves sometimes? The relationship between humans and dogs dates back thousands of years, evolving from working partnerships to deep emotional connections. And while the idea of dogs feeling our feelings sounds heartwarming, it also raises eyebrows. Are we giving dogs too much credit for emotional intelligence, or is there science behind their behavior? Let's dig in and find out. Let's address the skeptics out there. People often dismiss the idea that dogs can genuinely understand emotions, saying things like, "They just want food, not feelings. That tail wag? It's about the treats, not your bad day. Dogs don't get emotions, that's a human thing." And honestly, it's a fair point. Dogs don't have the same cognitive processes as humans. They don't write poetry about heartbreak or binge-watch romantic comedies after a breakup. So how could they possibly understand something as complex as our emotional roller coasters? This skepticism has created a divide. Pet lovers who swear their dogs get them, and researchers who demand evidence before believing Rover cares when you're crying. But science might just have a bone to pick with the doubters. Let's break this down scientifically. Over the years, researchers have conducted fascinating studies to uncover whether dogs can truly sense our emotions. And the results? Pretty mind-blowing. One study from Scientific Reports had dogs listen to recordings of human voices expressing happiness, sadness, or anger. When the dogs heard sad voices, their behavior visibly shifted. They became calmer, their ears drooped slightly, and some even approached the speakers as if to comfort them. On the flip side, happy voices got their tails wagging and their excitement levels up. But that's not all. Dogs are incredible at reading body language and facial expressions. In fact, they're one of the few species that can understand where humans are pointing, a skill even some toddlers struggle with. Researchers also discovered that dogs can tell the difference between happy and angry faces. Show your dog a smiling picture of you, and they might lean in or wag their tail. Show them a photo of you scowling, and they're more likely to look away or avoid eye contact. What's even wilder, dogs don't just read emotions, they mirror them. This phenomenon, called emotional contagion, means that if you're anxious, your dog might start acting nervous too. Have you ever noticed your dog pacing when you're stressed or getting extra cuddly when you're sad? It's not a coincidence, it's empathy in action. And don't forget the power of scent. Dogs' noses are insanely powerful, up to 100,000 times more sensitive than ours. They can smell the chemical changes in our bodies when we're stressed, happy, or even sick. This means your dog might literally sniff out your feelings before you've even processed them yourself. Spooky, right? Here's where things get really fascinating. A groundbreaking study conducted by the University of Lincoln in the UK revealed a jaw-dropping fact. Dogs don't just react to emotions, they process them on a deeper level. In this study, researchers presented dogs with images of human faces showing different emotions, like joy, anger, and sadness, alongside matching vocal cues. For example, a happy face was paired with laughter, while a sad face was paired with crying. The dogs were able to match the faces and sounds of the same emotion, even when presented with unfamiliar people. This suggests that dogs aren't just reacting to visual or auditory cues in isolation. They're piecing together the whole emotional puzzle. But wait, there's more. Another study discovered that dogs respond to human crying in a particularly special way. Researchers found that dogs are significantly more likely to approach a crying person, whether it's their owner or a stranger, than someone who's just talking or humming. And they don't just approach, they do so in a calm, submissive manner, as if they're trying to comfort the person. One of the most surprising findings? Dogs might even prioritize human emotions over their own instincts. In one experiment, dogs were placed in a room with a person pretending to cry. Even when there was an obstacle blocking the dog's way, many of them worked to overcome it to reach the distressed person. Now, if that's not a testament to their emotional intelligence, I don't know what is. But the story doesn't end there. Researchers from Eötvös Loránd University in Hungary discovered something even more remarkable. Dogs' brains process human emotions in a way that is strikingly similar to ours. By using MRI scans, they found that certain areas of a dog's brain light up when they hear human voices, especially ones conveying strong emotions like happiness or sadness. Essentially, dogs have a voice-sensitive region in their brains, much like humans do. This means they're not just passively hearing you, they're actively interpreting the emotional tone behind your words. Even more mind-blowing is how dogs prioritize emotional cues from their owners over other humans. In experiments where owners and strangers showed contrasting emotions, for example, the owner acting sad while the stranger acted happy, dogs consistently aligned their behavior with their owners. This suggests a deep emotional loyalty. Dogs aren't just recognizing emotions, they're responding to the ones that matter most to them. And then there's the phenomenon of guilt face. You've probably seen it, that look your dog gives you after chewing up your favorite pair of shoes. While it's tempting to think your dog feels remorse, researchers argue that this behavior may be more about reading your emotional cues than their own guilt. They're likely responding to your upset tone and body language, trying to diffuse tension rather than apologizing for their actions. So, while it's not technically guilt, it's still a form of emotional intelligence. Let's not forget how dogs adapt over time to better understand their humans. A study from Japan found that dogs who spend more time with their owners become better at interpreting their emotions. It's as if they're learning to speak human the longer they're with us, fine-tuning their ability to detect sadness, happiness, or stress. This adaptability shows that dogs' emotional intelligence isn't just innate, it's also shaped by their unique bond with each individual owner. So, what's the verdict? Do dogs really understand human feelings? While they may not grasp emotions in the same way we do, after all, they're not sitting there analyzing existential dread. They've proven time and again that they're incredibly attuned to our emotional states. Dogs use a combination of vocal tones, facial expressions, body language, and even our scent to read us like an open book. And whether they're nudging you during a tough moment or wagging their tail in your joy, their responses strengthen the incredible bond between humans and their furry best friends. This emotional connection isn't just heartwarming, it's mutually beneficial. When dogs respond to our feelings, it deepens our relationship and reminds us why they've been our companions for thousands of years. From comfort during heartbreak to celebrating life's little victories, dogs are truly the ultimate emotional support system. Now it's your turn. Do you have a story about a time your dog seemed to sense exactly how you were feeling? Share it in the comments below. We'd love to hear all about your pup's superpowers.